Right, I'm really excited about this video. I'm out here at Yas Acres Golf Club in Abu Dhabi with Golf Bride, and today I'm with Robert Rock, and he's going to be talking us exactly how to set up to the golf ball. So we're going to be going over the absolute basics of how to grip the golf club, how to stand to the ball, how wide should your feet be, what should your posture look like. So whether you're a new player just looking to learn the basics, or you're an experienced golfer just looking to touch upon your fundamentals, you want to stick around to the end to listen to those nuggets of gold that Rob gives us on how to set up to the ball for success. All right, Rob, so you're on record as having one of the best swings ever, but we all know that starts with a great setup.
Yeah.
So
That's nice.
Yeah. So can you just sort of start with where you would start with a complete beginner in terms of setting up to the ball? So you pick the club up first, so we'll probably just start with the grip.
Yeah, you pull the club out of the bag and you've got to put your hands on it, right? It's got to be a solid connection to the club that allows you movement in the wrists so that you can generate a bit of speed and leverage, right? Because we need a full range of motion in the wrist to be able to swing the club fully and actually build up some speed.
Yep.
But at the same time, we need speed to deliver a square club face.
Yep.
Speed is no use to us with a face open or shut.
100%.
Because the ball just goes sideways. So the reason why that you build a solid grip is so that the actual technique of it is more likely to bring the club face back somewhere near square.
Yep.
With sort of zero reliability on talent, right? Which is what we want.
Yep.
And each day we all play and feel differently. And if we've got a grip that relies a lot on coordination and timing, your game is going to change from day to day. So building the grip properly also helps as a knock-on effect of actually building a setup that's actually aligned at your target.
Yeah.
Right? Because most golfers aim right.
Yes.
Right? Very, very rarely see them naturally aim to the left for whatever reason that is. I actually haven't mastered that yet, but most of us aim to the right, and most of us grip too strong in the right hand and probably too weak in the left. So
yep.
If we can build a grip that's also based around the club shaft being in a pretty neutral position, like meaning pointing straight up to your belly button or your belt line without too much lean forwards. Not many do it backwards, but a lot would like to put the grip forwards, and that de-lofts the club. Now it may hit your short irons a bit further, but then when you get to the longer clubs, you don't have enough loft to play with, and then you'll struggle getting your driver and your long irons airborne. So always build your grip around how the club's designed to sit on the floor with the loft that the 7-iron has got.
Yep.
Right? That makes putting your left hand or top hand on easier. I always recommend putting this hand on first because this one's got to cover it up, right? Don't get too wrapped up in whether you interlock or overlapping, because in my experience that doesn't make much difference.
Okay.
Right? The important parts is how the hands are positioned on top and whether you get the right feel of the club face.
Yep.
I don't get any feel of club face from doing that.
No.
Or that. It gives you almost next to nothing, right? So, but it's spoken about a lot, like interlocking and overlapping. It's probably overdone.
There's plenty of major winners on both counts,
There's
isn't
both
there?
counts, so it can't be really that relevant, can it?
Yeah.
What is relevant is where the hands sit, and really good players do have a good awareness of the club face, right? Which is why we're here to talk about the Align Max, which is more pronounced ridge down the back of the grip, which helps you feel the club face when you're not looking at it.
Yeah.
Right. Now, at the start, if you're a beginner, you're going to need to look at this as well because you want to get everything aligned up. And if we can get a square club face, which is not using the top line, which I do see some people do, like, and putting the club in like that.
Yeah.
No good players start with a closed club face.
No.
I haven't played with any tour pros that set up like that.
You've never seen that?
Just never seen it. Not great players significantly towing that in. It just doesn't happen.
Right.
See loads of really, really good players with marginally open club faces.
Really?
Yeah, but marginally, because once we start the swing, the club face is moving and we're trying to square it back up.
Yep.
So if we're slightly along the road of how it might open up a bit in the backswing, we can square it back up. But if you're closed, twisting back to open, it's going in the wrong direction of the line of swing. So, but the important part is left hand on first, left thumb slightly turned, the hand turned over with the thumb coming back in towards the middle, so that when you get to the top, this thumb is under the club at the top.
Supporting the
shaft. So we're on an angle, the thumb being slightly turned over from the middle gives us some support there. And then the right hand adds even more support when we position it properly on top of the left thumb. So that one goes on first. more in the fingers than through the palms.
Yep.
Obviously you can't get the left hand over through the palms, so it's got to be over, coming back in towards the middle, right hand being placed from the top. Now the beauty of this Align Max at the back is I don't have to look at it.
Yep.
Right, so I can put my hand on the top and then I can feel the position of the ridge that I know is in relation to the club face. So I can check the important parts, which is my hand placement on the top relative to each other.
Yep.
And the position that I want it to occupy on the grip and the space I want it to take up, but not being too spread out.
Yeah.
And this gives me an awareness of where the face is.
So do you ever suggest to people that if they're a slicer, they strengthen their grip, or if they're a hooker, they weaken it, or do you just prefer like a neutral grip to start with?
Somewhere near neutral is good.
Okay.
Right, there's tolerances in it. Not everyone can, we can't all pick the club up and grip it identical.
No.
But we can be within boundaries of the grip being marginally, like a couple of degrees off to the right,
yeah,
and possibly a couple of degrees off to the left. But generally
you want to be somewhere near.
Somewhere near, because good shots are determined by 1 or 2 degrees in the club face
course,
error, aren't they? Right.
Yep.
So if this gets beyond a couple of degrees open or closed, the shot's dispersion gets much greater. So we can't allow the grip to go much more beyond that. And the slight errors in maybe a grip style will give your shot pattern, because no one hits it dead straight.
No.
We all curve it in various degrees from left to right or right to left, don't we? So there is tolerances in that, but it's got to be within boundaries that also allows the correct movement of the wrists in the swing.
Yeah.
Once the grip restricts the movement, then we're losing power,
yes,
and we're losing strike. So
yeah.
that grip needs to be placed really carefully and trained enough away from hitting balls so that you just pick the club up and you hold it like that.
So once you've got your perfect grip, how do we know how far to stand from the ball?
Well, the clubs are built on a certain line. Hopefully you've got the right clubs for you, because that does help. You shouldn't see the club obviously sitting too much like that, but if you build your grip around the club sitting as it's designed to, and your arm, you're not reaching too far for it, so your arms are pretty much loosely hanging from your shoulders straight down, that gives you a location of where your hand should sit.
Yep.
Right, and then keeping that reference, so you don't want to do this and then just...
Yeah, you sometimes see that.
Loads.
People doing practice swings, and then without moving their feet, they just put the club behind the ball.
It's like they can't be bothered to shuffle in.
Yeah, they don't shuffle in.
I get that. I mean, I think I've been guilty of that sometimes. I feel that sometimes with a driver, that I think, oh, that little bit matter.
Yeah.
Right, it does, doesn't it? So you've got to keep, to be consistent, we want to just practice one swing over and over and over.
Yeah.
And you can't practice one swing if the starting point varies, because it's like hitting a moving ball.
Yeah.
Right, so we have to be really precise in that if your grip is going to look the same way to you every single time.
Yep.
The alignment of the club shaft in reference to how it's sitting squarely to the ground, and the lie of the club, that's got to be the same every time. Your hand position needs to be the same every time. Your width of stance and ball position needs to be the same, and your weight distribution needs to be the same. Then you're starting from a fixed point.
Yeah.
And then you can start to learn one swing that works for that ball being in that point.
So you might actually in a lesson write all these things down for a person so that they can go home and be really diligent in their practice around.
Because all that's even before you started to attempt to hit it.
Yes.
And if you've got grip, shaft position, stance, all that to go through, it's going to take a long time, right? You're going to fidget over the ball loads.
Yeah.
And then you've got to think, oh, actually got to hit it now.
Yeah.
Like, there's so much going on that those things need to be repeated over and over and over. And it's probably one of the more sort of tedious parts of learning the game. But once you've learned the setup, it's there for forever.
Yeah. And how often do you mess around with people's stance widths from sort of narrow to wide?
Sometimes you use a different stance width for a drill, just to help encourage certain things. But if we're using a 7-iron as an example, I think the stance width should be kind of loosely based around the width of your shoulders. That gives us a good platform to shift and generate power from, and having the ball position not too far back or too far forwards. So a lot of people struggle having the ball too far back, and it limits what you can do from there. They do it in an effort to hit down on the ball properly, but comfort is everything when we're trying to hit balls. So if you feel uncomfortable over the ball, right, you're best stepping off, doing it again, because it doesn't take that long. Do it again, come back in, and second time will feel better. Then you've got half a chance.
Yeah. So it's actually okay for amateurs at home to take a picture of their favourite player and just go stand in the mirror and try and emulate that good setup. Now, we all can't swing it exactly the same, but you can stand to it well. And actually, because we haven't started the swing yet, there's actually no excuse for a poor setup, is there?
Not really, no. Now, I always thought that it's all done before. It's your planning.
Yes.
Planning of the shot. There is no excuse for it. And the worst thing you can do is just go straight in and go, right, how do I grip it, right? Something like that will do. Now, where's my target? Right, I've got to shuffle round.
Yes.
Right, you've got absolutely no chance of doing that on a day-to-day basis. That brings in so many different variables that one day you'll just settle somewhere and you think that feels all right, but you'll be aiming 30 yards right.
Yeah. So do you practice your alignment as well?
I always have a starting line to my shot in mind, a club face and grip position. This bit is crucial to me. When I start my pre-shot routine, which is generally getting my club out my bag from this sort of zone, picturing my shot, I'm picturing this. Obviously the alignment line isn't there when I'm playing on the course, but nearly all the time when I'm practicing it's there. And then everything is built around parallel lines and right angles. So that my club face and my shaft is the right angle to this line that I bring in here with my right foot. Now I've got pretty much assurance, as much as you can, of that I am going to build my stance parallel to this because this first bit is at right angles to that. Then how I put my left and right foot in then is based around this, the way I present the club to the ball the first time it touches the ground. If I do that, I haven't got a right angle to go on. So I have to do that. Now I don't have to look up there too much because I'm building just a right angle setup like I would do when I'm practicing on a range.
Perfect. Are you pretty much getting everything ready before you get to the ball? Do your grip, pick your line, and then as soon as you get in, you get yourself square and then you play fairly swiftly. You're not standing over the ball for too long?
No, nothing good happens from standing over the ball longer than necessary.
You see that on TV sometimes where on important shots or important putts where people almost take just a fraction longer than...
One little bit of doubt can ruin everything for you. And we're always vulnerable to thoughts that might pop in or doubts about what we're about to do. So the more you can make the procedure the same as hitting a ball on the range, the better it is for the consistency of like just repeating the same motion over and over and over again.
So will you just talk us through your full routine?
So it'll be club out the bag. It will be left hand picking the club up, bringing it in front of me, feeling the club face through the ridge and the position of the grip on the club. I trust that now. I give my hands a little squeeze together to make sure there's no gaps in there and check the tension in my arms. Right. If that goes smoothly, then I go into this next phase. Should be almost constant motion all the way through. So this is my fixed bit, and I'm making sure I've got my awareness on the club face, and then I go in. Hopefully 3 or 4 steps in, right foot, club face, 1, 2 waggles, and I try and do every single one exactly the same.
And do you practice in that routine?
Yeah. Now if I'm swing building or whatever else, I might churn a few out quickly, just trying to get a feel. But if I'm actually trying to hit a proper shot, I'm doing this by sort of automatic. I'm trying to produce a nice shot down my target line, back here again as if it's another shot. Can I make this flow slightly better than the last one? It's harder when you're talking, but I'm trying to move in, club in, build my set up, 1 waggle.
So an amateur shouldn't be just thrashing through 50 balls in 25 minutes then?
No. I mean, it should take quite a long time really to hit a bucket of balls.
Again,
I'm just drifting back because I'm ready to hit another one. You're lining up, build your grip, club face. Caught that one a bit fat. But hold it to the end. Put another one in. So once you're sure of your pre-shot routine and swing thoughts that might be going on for whatever you're working on, you just keep churning them out in the same rhythm and flow of thoughts. You don't want to forget one on the way in and then add it back in. Like, it's got to all come. Then you're just practicing one swing.
Brilliant. All right, that's awesome. Okay. Thanks a lot, Rob. That was great. Thank you very much.
Cheers,